Hello everyone, Joshua724 here, and as promised I have a video about monster spawning. Now, from everyone who's seen the previous video, you know that a creeper managed to spawn out of the middle of nowhere inside my house. Well, I had the idea that if I put down slabs, those would be considered half blocks and mobs would not spawn on them. Well, obviously that's not true. So I began thinking, are there any types of blocks that mobs will not spawn on? Anywhere that like a torch or switch is occupying the space, obviously that will not hold a mob. But obviously you're not going to like scare your whole floor with that kind of thing just to keep mobs from spawning. So I set about trying to figure out what type of surface mobs do not spawn on. Now, coming out here, well here, let me change the time real quick. Coming over here, all I have to do is walk somewhere, and you can already see mobs spawning. Now, I figured that if they would spawn anywhere, then all I would need to do is create a atmosphere for them to spawn in. The first one I did, it's right below that house I built. It was a 4x4 or 5x5 space, and I figured that that was the optimum amount of space you would need to spawn mobs. However, after some further research, I discovered that it wasn't. So, I created this, in which it was a 8x8 space for mobs to spawn in, as well as it was 3 blocks high for each level. Now, in this level, I had slabs occupying the bottom half of a block area. Up here, it is the slabs occupying the top half of a block area. Up here, we have steps, or at least I call them steps due to the fact that they act like it. Up here, we have bushes, and up here we have glass. Now, in the test area built down in there, I could not get a predictable pattern for mobs other than in the hallways separating those rooms. This was not successful either. Mobs will spawn everywhere in the map, including in clusters of 4 or 5, but there is no predictable pattern as to them spawning in the place that you make optimum for a bad mob to spawn in. So I gave up, and instead I focused on another idea. What would it take to make sure that a monster does not spawn? So we have some blocks here. The redstone lamp obviously gets powered by redstone, and it can be powered by a simple light switch right here. And here we have a glowstone lamp and a beacon. Now glowstone, that well, you can get glowstone from the nether. I'm not sure how to harvest it. And here we have a beacon. These are, well, let's see, torches. These are the 4 light sources you can use for preventing mobs. A redstone lamp with a switch, a glowstone, a beacon, at least I think that's a beacon, yeah, beacon, and the regular torch, which is stick and coal. Now I'll show you how you can use the redstone lamp. Now, in another video, I had shown you that the redstone dust had a, well, redstone in general has a limit as to how far it can travel. I flip this switch, and as you can see, by the way the glitter comes off, it has a limit up to this point. Now that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Well, in actuality, if you're counting how many squares it can light, then I guess you stop at 13, because anything beyond that, you're still having to reach a set of lights. So, now I have discovered that you can, even though you can't put redstone vertically, you can put it horizontally in such a way that a vertical line will develop, and it can light that way. You can go pretty far in terms of a stepping with the redstone, as you can see. I have it up 2 steps, and depending on the distance you go, you could go pretty far with that stepping. And I wonder, okay. You can line up lights this way, apparently. But the thing is, if you do it flat like this, you have to have the dust laid out like this, so that you can have a second line going into the square like that. Although I definitely have to say it is interesting that it can go on squares and not have to extend to the lamp, the way it does over there. And turning off some of these other switches, here is one more way you can do it. This is a switch in the middle of a set of 4 redstone blocks. Now, as you can see, it is the adjoining blocks that can be lit. However, if I put a block right there, it is not lit. That means it has to be right next to the switch and not diagonally from it. A few more quick notes based on some fiddling around I did with the redstone lamps and some levers. You can place a lever on any side of the redstone lamp and make it its own self-contained switch, and it will turn on. You can even have it upside down. It just needs to be touching it in order for this to work as a self-contained unit. Also, you can use the half slabs to power your redstone lamps. And in fact, if you have the redstone going to 1, the adjacent one will get powered as well. This one, for example, something I am working on in my own house. I have got the switch positioned like this, and the switch has to be positioned, well, as you can see, it can be there or there, but it just needs to be level enough with the redstone that it's connecting to. And the redstone can be put on half slabs so that they can save on the room that they occupy, and that can reach the redstone lamp there. Now this has to be on the same level as the redstone, because it will not work like this. It has to be like that.